All right, this video focuses on rationalizing denominators. We'll start with the first example type, is when our denominator has a single term radical. So here's our radical in the denominator. It's not considered proper to leave that square root of 7 in the denominator. So what we have to do is we have to rationalize it. So how you rationalize it, you take this radical in the denominator and you multiply it to the numerator and the denominator. What we did is essentially just multiplied it by 1, because square root of 7 divided by square root of 7 reduces down to the number 1. So now we're going to go ahead and multiply across. So we're going to multiply 3 times the square root of 7, and we get 3 square roots of 7. And we'll multiply across. Square root of 7 times square root of 7 is square root of 7 times 7 underneath. Does that square root of 7 times 7 reduce down? Yes, we can pop it out as a 7. What rationalizing denominator does is it gets rid of any radicals in the denominator. So that's our final answer. This second example in this video now focuses on you have two terms. And what we have to do is we have to multiply by the conjugate. You probably remember this from imaginary numbers. When you do a conjugate, you're going to change the sign of that second term where the radical is. So we're going to change it to a plus when we multiply. So we're going to put a parenthesis here. We're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 1 plus the square root of 6. 1 plus the square root of 6. Now, we go ahead and multiply across like we did before in the previous example. So I'm going to multiply across. So I get 2 times the quantity of 1 plus the square root of 6. When I multiply across, I get 1 minus the square root of 6 times 1 plus the square root of 6. Now, when I multiply the numerator, I'm not going to distribute the 2 through quite yet. I'm going to leave it alone because I'm going to hope that maybe it might reduce down later. So I'm going to just leave it alone. What I want to focus on next is this denominator. I'm going to FOIL it. So first is 1 times 1 is 1. Outside, 1 times the square root of 6 is 1 square roots of 6. Inside, negative square root of 6 times 1 is negative 1 square roots of 6. And then we do last. Negative square root of 6 times positive square root of 6 is negative square root of 6 times 6 is 36. All right. You will notice every time when you multiply by conjugates, the middle terms will always cancel out. If you don't get that, you've done something wrong. All right. I'm going to keep that numerator as it is, just like before. But now, we're going to go ahead and simplify this square root of 36. Square root of 36, the perfect was 6, so that reduces down to 6. Now we have 1 minus 6 is negative 5. All right. It doesn't benefit us to multiply that square root of 2 through if you want to leave it, or if you do keep it, that's cool. If you distribute it, that's also fine with me. Either way, so I'm going to show you both answers. That is your final answer.